Welcome back to The Loud Lens, the podcast where we talk about the real side of photography without sugarcoating. So if you're new here, I'm Khandie, a professional photographer who's been in the industry long enough to see the bullshit, deal with the gatekeeping and still make a living doing what I love. Now this podcast is for photographers who either just starting out and need to hear the truth, seasoned pros or retired of the pretentious nonsense, or you're just curious and nosy, and I'm here for you. I'll keep it blunt, honest, and a little bit controversial because someone needs to. Now, with today's episode, and I will be frank, this was requested, but it's great timing because with the photo and video show of 2025 just around the corner happening at the London Excel, where yours truly will be speaking both on the fundamental stage and at the BIPP stage and hosting a networking event, this seems ideal, doesn't it? Perfect timing. Now, I know some of you are sick of hearing the word networking and definitely feel sick when they say extroverts. You love talking, but you're worried that you overshare and scare people off. Introverts, you'd rather shove yourself in a wasp nest than introduce you to a room full of strangers. Good news, you don't have to fake it to network well. So today I'm going to be covering why networking feels cringe, but you need to do it, how extroverts and introverts can play to their strengths, the biggest networking mistakes photographers make, and how to turn connections to actual paid work. And if you have ever been told to tone it down or feel pressured to be more sociable, then this is definitely an episode for you. And I know that I'm an extrovert, okay? So I have reached out to people I know to be and self-identify as introverts for some help. So I have not left you hanging, my quiet little ones, okay? Why are networking events so cringe though? I feel like they're speed dating, like a really bad version. But instead of finding love, you're trying to find someone who might actually pay you. So the types of networking events that we as photographers can face are photography industry events, which one of my friends described them as the ego Olympics. Like, people accidentally name drop. Gear debates are so intense you'd think there was some new war going on. And you get the people who say, I've been in the industry for like 30 years and you need to suffer too. And then we have the business networking events, the finance bro problem. They hear you're a photographer, assume you shoot weddings and birthdays, and then you're stuck explaining for the 500th time that photography is not just pushing a button. And then someone will go, could you just do me a headshot? And you're like, yeah, I'll just carry a backpack and pull out a backdrop out my arse crack. Imagine if you did that, like it's a proper pop-up one. That would be such a great thing. Okay, anyway, back. Here's the thing, we need these events. The British Chambers of Commerce found that 80% of business deals happen through personal connection, not cold outreach. So whether you like it or not, we have to play the networking game, but we need to do it our way without sucking up, faking or dulling ourselves down. Now let's talk about why networking is different depending on who you are. So extroverts, you're my people, your strength and mistake. This was really humbling, by the way, very humbling. So the strength is you're great at starting conversations. The mistake you often can make is that you talk too much. Yes, she says, hosting a podcast, and forget to listen. So what you need to do is let the other people talk, shut down for 30 seconds, ask a question, be quizzical. Not an inquisitive, maybe that's a better term. The strength, you're memorable and bring energy. The mistake can be that you bring too much for some people. For me, read the room. Try not to overpower quieter personalities, okay? Look out for them, because some of the best connections I've made with people who are introverts, because some people naturally are, and I've made great connections with them by just toning myself down a little bit so not to make them feel overwhelmed. Now my introvert darlings, the strength. You listen well and make deep connections, but you don't speak up enough so people forget you. Have a strong intro. Practice a quick but confident way to introduce yourself. Honestly, hi, I'm Khandie and I'm a photographer. I'm based in Northampton. I love branding. Even if it's as sharp and as quick as that, I'm cool with that. Okay? Your strength is you build quality over quantity connections because you only speak to a few people. But you do avoid follow-ups because you're worried that it will make you feel pushy and you feel a bit cringe doing it. Just a simple message saying, love chatting with you, let's keep in touch is more than adequate. Here's a little stat for you. A UK creative industry survey found that introverts are 40% more likely to feel imposter syndrome at a networking event, but are also the best at long-term client retention. So introverts, you're doing things right, okay? So don't get too upset, all right? How to network without being fake. And I know these. It honestly makes me cringe. I have seen these. I've seen people handing out 50 business cards like they're playing a game of cards. And then they talk about themselves nonstop without even asking the other person their name. It happened to me recently at a networking event, actually. And then they collect the LinkedIn connections and then you never speak. So show up as yourself, like I said, but read the room. Photography events, go all in. Your people are there. They love you. They know what you're talking about. You can go all geek out if you want to. But corporate events, you might need to tone it down, but you don't lose your edge, because corporate events maybe not know what a photographer does or have a loose idea. Yeah, you take pictures, but don't know the full extent. So just tone it down a little bit, but still be very much you. A 2023 UK creative industry study found that 40% of photographers felt pressure to fit in at business events, but the ones who didn't fit in, they built stronger, better paying client relationships. So here's the thing, learn to follow up, otherwise they'll forget you. Most photographers, and I was until a few years ago, pretty bad at this, so don't be one. Within 48 hours, send a message, keep it personal. It's a bit like when you do wedding photography, you'd send sneak peeks, it's just a bit like that. Give value. Maybe there's a helpful article that you've read about something that we were talking about, a photography YouTube video that you saw that was funny, something that makes them remember you. Don't try to sell though. You're nurturing the relationship that will then lead on to sales. 85% of deals come from a follow-up. No follow-up, no work. So it does pay just to do that one little message. Hey, it was great to meet you. Maybe see you at the next one or whatever. Now, sometimes people won't like you and we need to know how to handle that. And that's 100% okay. There are corporate people who think you're too much. Some people can be salty because you're confident and some people are just boring and hate fun. Maybe they're not the last one, but you get the idea. You're just not always going to be good. So here are your choices. Do you blend in and be miserable or own it and the right people will find you? A UK creative access study found that unapologetic creatives build stronger business relationships than those who try to fit in. So now maybe is the time that we don't try fitting in. It seems weird. I will say I went to a recent networking event and I went to 3 fairly recently, one very recently, but the 2 previous to that, I did not enjoy. People were very loudly talking about how great they were, but I couldn't tell you anything that they had done, just because they just kept talking about how great. I couldn't figure out how I could connect with them. They also kept forgetting people's names. Now, at first it was kind of funny, but when you've asked the same person, oh, sorry, what was your name again? I'm terrible at names. And they say, hi, my name's Imogen, in the case this person was. And the guy was carrying on, like, sorry, what was your name again? She went, Imogen. And he's like, oh, yeah. And then they go, sorry, what? And she went, do you know what, forget it. And it because he spent so long just talking about himself, that's never okay. And in the same light, I have a friend who was at the network event who's quite the introvert and didn't engage with anybody. I said, oh, I've really messed up. I didn't engage. I said, do you know what? Next time, so we went to the next one together, you're going to be next to me and I'm going to lead questions for you to talk. And eventually he was able to then ask questions of other people because he felt a little bit more confident having me as a wingman. It's fine. Whatever gets you through it, don't be ashamed of it. To be able to ask questions. And now he just messaged me this morning saying, oh, that client got back to me and is really keen for me to work on their website with them. It doesn't matter how you connect in terms of whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. It's the connection that matters. So with the now that we've got the photo and video show just round the corner, unless you're watching this, listening to this much later on, it's a great opportunity to flex your networking muscles and get talking to people who you might find interesting. Now, I realise this episode is short and sweet, but you get used to that with me. And I love that you're engaging in the comments and be here on Spotify or also on the YouTube, because you can also listen to these on YouTube. I can't wait to meet you all at the photo show. Don't forget, I've got my own networking meetup, very chilled. You don't even have to ask questions of photography. You can just hang out. We'll drink coffee. We'll be at the Boca Bar at 12 p.m. on the 10th, which is the Monday at the London XL. So if you've got tickets for the show, do try and come across. It's very chilled out. And I promise I'll answer any question that you have on photography, business or otherwise, because frankly, you know me, I don't like gatekeeping. So just some final thoughts. Networking is necessary, so it should be in your marketing plan, but you don't have to sell yourself out. And your energy, regardless if it's high or low, will attract the right people. But do yourself a favour and do follow-ups. Seriously, just do it. Just simply do it. So next time someone says tone it down, you just smile and say, nah, I'd rather stand out. So that's for today's episode. I can't wait to see you all soon, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for being here and listening for this long. God, you're one of the chosen people. You're the OGs.